poop jokes. I like poop jokes. No, you can't. I took out BJ. Oh. You're just getting too deep, man. Pull out, you've gone too deep. My 12-pound axe. That's what I've named my penis. Oh, yeah. What's up? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Arts Department. It's the Arts Department, and it was a long weekend. I mean, it was a long weekend because I didn't stream on Friday. So, you know, what's up, Cryptid? Hello, friend. What's up, Rick? The imposter? Rick the Imposter Berry? Hello, Seriana. Wonderful friend. It really is a Monday. God damn it, why is it Monday? How was the weekend? Seriana, I clearly I know how your weekend was. I mean, well, that's not true. I mean, I do, but I don't, but I do. You know? So, I was looking to set up Restream so that I could stream to all the platforms again. And I discovered a very frustrating thing about it. I can't set like all the parameters of the stream. So it's like all you get to do is like a little description and stuff. You don't get to do a thumbnail, which is like the most important thing on YouTube. So their interface is basically useless. You're like, well, thanks for nothing. So what did I pay for? Glad I haven't paid again since I got it. So, because that shit was expensive. They're like, do you want to pay $900 for a Restream? I'm like, I don't make any money at this. So, yeah. Sorry that I had to cancel last minute on Friday for the Twitch stream. It was a last minute invite to Phil Farrell's birthday dinner at a wonderful spot in Beverly Hills. In related news, I've blown my entire budget for restaurants for the month of April. Like, wait a minute, what's the day? Yeah, holy shit. So if you're gonna go to Beverly Hills, just be prepared to walk out painfully light in the wallet. Shocked, stunned, hurt even. Yeah, it was you know, yes, real life friends are very important, especially when it's somebody's birthday, especially when they're turning old. Years old is a very important time to get together with your friends and reminisce about the good old days. Yes, and Seriana was there because Seriana lives near me now. And much to her chagrin, she learned this weekend that it kind of sucks to live near me. She's like, could you just leave me the fuck alone for like one day? Just one day, please? Just one day. That's all I'm asking. Just out of curiosity, how many zeros after the first number for 1? Wait, what? You mean how expensive was it? It was a couple of zeros at the very least. But the entire check was more than a couple. It was a few and then some. It was expensive. Yeah. Luckily, or unluckily, just for one person. I mean, it depends on the person. I personally did not drink that much alcohol. I had one drink, but other people had multiple drinks, and it was rather expensive. If I go to Beverly Hills, it would be for two. Yeah, and it depends on how much you're gonna drink and how many, what you ordered. Yeah, clearly. I mean, I had to try their large cut of meat because I was a glutton for gluttony. Is that a thing? Glutton for gluttony? It is now. Yeah. I don't drink, got rid of that years ago. Not even like a flavor drink, Rick, because I don't drink at all ever. But like when I go to a place that's clearly upscale and they have a nice drink on the menu, I'm like, well, I can try a drink, but I'm not drinking to get drunk. I'm drinking because they made a nice drink, right? So, Rick, that sounds about reasonable. Yeah, sure. I'm just not ever paying for two, so for me, I'm like, hey. Very, very, very rarely. Yeah. Same here, Rick. I feel you, brother. Yeah, exactly, Sariana. Or even, one drink and an entree and some appetizers. You're probably about $250 to $300 for Beverly Hills. And if you're here and you're wondering about those little avatars at the bottom, you have to be a sub to gain access to those little bad boys. So if you're here hanging out and you like what you see thus far, join the channel. I went to a place in Austin and spent $70 on Tex-Mex Polynesian? And that was pushing it for me, but that was for two, so I can't. That's perfectly reasonable, Cryptid. That's about. I mean, there's many restaurants here that are like that, and that's about standard. But we went into Beverly Hills, where, I mean, it was basically right off of Rodeo Drive, and I mean, you expect to pay a lot when you head over to that side of town and you're in that area. That's just how it goes, right? And plus, I did kind of leave a good tip for the guy because he was nice, and he was really. He was astute, and he catered to mine and Sariana's stomach gut needs and made sure that, tried to make sure that we didn't have a reaction to anything, but the next day was fun. Anyway, hello, Nicole, welcome on in. That was a 1 app, 1 main, and 4 drinks. Oof, damn. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna happen here, Cryptid. You'll spend more than that. In other news, I got a 32-pound box. You could just stop there, and I would go for it. Anyway, new D&D stuff. From 2 Kickstarters. Damn, dude. D&D stuff. That's dope. Should be sleeping, but I can't sleep, so I'm drawing and watching NCIS, and I'm also here, so hi. Well, hi, Nicole. Welcome on in. We're just hanging out. Maybe we'll do a little bit of dragon sketching. Get the night started right. I don't make Beverly Hills money. I don't really make Austin money. Honestly, I don't make Beverly Hills money either. Like I said, I got an alert from Mint that was like, you blew your restaurant budget. I was like, fuck. I went well over my restaurant budget. And we're only 4 days into the month. So I won't be eating out the rest of the month. At least not in restaurants. What's that even mean? What's he mean? So let me pop open my old inspiration folder here. It was really just for ambiance and view. There's much better food than where we were on the lake. Yeah, you know, sometimes you gotta go for the view and the company, right? It's not all about the food. Although generally when I go out, I'm like, give me that food, right? So I'm just gonna warm up a little. Just a dragon head, you know. There's a place in Austin I want to go that is near Congress Street Bridge to eat and watch the bats. Oh, you had mentioned that at one point, I think. I mean, you're not going to eat and watch bats, are you? Meaning you're not eating the bats and then watching the other bats, right? That's not how it works. Because do you want COVID? That's how you get COVID. Only restaurant you will be eating in is the Arts Department Bar and Grill. Oh yeah. Arts Department Bar and Grill is great. The wait staff is handsome, if I do say so myself. But the cook is horrendous, just horrendous. A friend I went with who lives out of his van is about to head north to Boulder for the summer. Nice. I was actually watching a YouTube video while I worked today of a guy that transformed one of those like white, I don't even know what they're called, the white kind of van truck things into a full-on camper. It looked like a lot of work. It was like 6 months of, I would say, serious work. It's like when I first got my glass. Wait, what? What's so crisp? Oh, the internet, yeah. I mean, she's now enjoying her porn in 4K, which nobody should do. That's just too real. Like, there has to be a layer of like what do you call glowy softness to it. Otherwise, it's just too much. Too much. Moisture and then some, right? $4D. Something D. So, what else is going on this evening, friends, besides Sariana's 4D moisture experience? Blech. Rick, tell me about your Kickstarter thing. Your 32-pound box. This is a big ass box. Mm-hmm. Very, Sariana, very. Man, the only stuff I drew today was stuff from photos, so I'm kind of stuck in that style. But what we're aiming for is nowhere near that. It's such a weird thing to have to transition away from one style and into another. And still, you know, rocking that level of finish. It's a good thing we're professionals here. Cosmonaut! What's up, baby? How you doing? That was perfect. That was perfect, Sariana. Could you guys hear that? Tell me you could hear that. New stream elements alert alerts. Monitor and output. Everything is... Everything's going to the right channels. I don't know why it didn't play. Huh. That's not good. Thank you, Sariana, for that donation. Let me see if I can find why it didn't do that. And stream avatars. Ah. YouTube stream elements. Found it. Okay, okay. So let's see. Okay. Log in. YouTube. Okay, okay. Let's see if this worked. Did you guys hear it that time? Please tell me you heard it that time, or I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Perfect. Thank you, Sariana, for your generous donation. Okay, so now I gotta catch up with the chat. It's from a French creator, Agate Studios, called Fate Forged. Came with 4 books, The Adventure Grimoire Encyclopedia and Creatures Manual, which totals 1,600 pages, plus 6 minis, a box of a creature stand-use player guide, 7 maps, and a bunch of OPF art prints. Wow. You made out like a bandit, man. I got my man hollow metal dice. They sound like chiming bells when you roll them. Oh, that's neat, Cosmer. Black with dragons and gold. You know what? I feel like I was trying to get those on a Kickstarter or something, and the Kickstarter got canceled. I was like, God damn it. Trying to everything and make sure I got everything. Also, I honestly forgot all about it. I ordered it 2 years ago. Man, I'm into delayed gratification and all that, but like 2 years, man? Fuck. A lot can happen in 2 years. You can get preggers and have the baby, and then have the baby's first birthday, and then some. I don't know why my mind went to that, because there's other things that you could do in 2 years. You could stream for 2 years. What happened to my reference? Where's my goddamn reference? Autumn wants a baby? Oh, fucking hell no, Cosmer. What the fuck is wrong with you? I believe you'd get your ass kicked for saying something like that. How rude. Viscera, what's up, buddy? How you doing? We're hanging out here on a very chill evening, very chill Monday here in the arts department, talking about everything except fucking babies. Cosmonaut. No babies. Babies bad. Babies are how you age. I'm convinced that you don't age unless you have kids. And once you have kids, you just fucking like 25 years overnight. I don't drink though, Cryptid, so that kind of defeats the purpose. What do you want from me? No. I'm just gonna turn that upside down. Autumn says he wants to put a baby on layaway and pick it up in 2 years. Like, I wouldn't be picking up a baby, I'd be picking up a fucking skeleton. Oof, that went dark, didn't it? Like, why is this baby so light? Because it's bones. Not what I thought was gonna come out of your mouth. I mean, it rarely is, Cosmonaut. Come on, let's be honest. Yeah. We'll see how long I last as a streamer. We're gonna end up just taking this to Discord. Joke's on you, can't afford the fucking, or can't afford? Can't offend the management if the management is me. Man, I am tired today. Probably because it's a Monday. I don't have any other excuse than that. I mean, I do have the excuse that Sariana and I were adventuring in Minecraft until late last night. I mean, yeah, I mean, technically I couldn't afford me. Couldn't or wouldn't? Be like, use a high class hoe, huh? Yeah, that adventuring last night, like, so we made it to the end, and for those of you that don't know what the end is in Minecraft, it's basically these islands of stone hanging out over a gigantic abyss, and if you fall you die and you lose all your gear, it's gone forever. All the stuff you've worked so hard for is gone. And so to get from one of the islands to the next, you have to build from one island to the next, and you have to like stand over the void, putting rock or blocks beneath you. It's seriously, it's like it's butt puckeringly panic inducing. Do not like. Harrowing. So yeah, we stayed up a little late last night doing that, which I'm trying to get back into like a normal wake up and write schedule before work. And it's not working out entirely, but I'm getting there. I've been able to get like half an hour of writing in every morning, but slowly it's getting to be more and more, which is good because I'm powering through the second draft of my manuscript, which means that pretty soon I'll probably start doing some beta reads and stuff. Maybe let's say alpha read. Let's call it what it is. It's pretty rough, but yeah, staying up late and having my heart pounding in my throat whilst I play a fucking video game probably does not work towards waking up early and writing. How's it coming? It's coming well. It's coming along well. There's some adjustments to some of the characters that kind of need to happen. Just like pushing emotional states a little bit more in dialogue and that sort of thing, right? So telegraphing that kind of thing a little bit more in certain scenarios. But I'm getting once again to the climax and the denouement, and it's like speeding up for me. So I'm actually finding less and less that needs correction, if that makes sense. So it's like I can really kind of crank through chapter after chapter, because I feel like there's a good amount of the later stuff. I had hit a really good stride in it, so it's it requires less massaging and less searching for a balance between utilitarian and prose, if that makes sense, right? So there's moments early on in the story where I'm more prose heavy, because it's the introduction. There's a little bit of navel gazing and, you know, the kind of thing where you're like introducing the world, and there's observations of the characters looking across expanses and describing what they see and that kind of thing. And then there's you know, descriptions of magic and magic systems and how the characters relate to those magic systems. So there's all these kind of prose heavy, like not poetry or anything like that, because I'm not a poet, but there's definitely these moments that are more kind of geared for let's say this. I was inspired by Frank Herbert, and he has a way of writing psychedelic experiences that I fucking adore. And so there's a part of some of my stories where I will try and be that far into a character's head so that you experience everything on a visceral, auditory / visual / heartbeat level. Like, you are so far into who they are and what they're experiencing that you will be experiencing it at the same time. And like observing the observations at the same time, if that makes sense. Good News Mondays are the best Mondays. Yeah, right? Viscera, did you ever read The Santa Roga Barrier by him? It's a novella. I think it came out between, I want to say it was either Dune and Messiah, or Messiah and Children of Dune. But it's interesting because you can see him investigating some of the concepts that he puts into Dune in those. Hive mind and that sort of thing. Yo, dog. We'll see you later then, dog. Oh, you don't mean it like dog. Okay, got it. Yeah, it's out of print, Viscera. It's funny because I got rid of all of my novels and stuff except for the out of print Herbert stuff, which you can actually find a lot of that stuff if you hit up used bookstores. But do keep in mind that a lot of his things were printed and reprinted, and each edition on some of them he actually changed it up a little bit. There's also another one that you might really like. It's one of my favorites, and it was he did a novella called Destination Void, and I believe it came out before 2001. I want to say it did. Maybe I'm wrong. But investigating some of the concepts of that, but then twisting it a little bit. It's kind of the precursor. I would say that there's elements of like space horror and that going on in it. It's really interesting. But it has, I want to say George X. McGee is it? Mackey is in it. It's one of his characters that is kind of repeating in his novellas. So it's kind of a saboteur and mercenary. Very interesting character, but I think the concepts in Destination Void are super interesting. And he goes on to write two follow-ups with a poet. God, what was his name? Wasn't Anderson was the guy that's writing with his son. But the follow-ups are the Lazarus Effect, and the Jesus Incident, and those three form a trilogy that's really interesting. And you're talking about sci-fi from the 60s and 70s, right? So there's kind of some of that stuff that comes from 50s sci-fi, and you can see some of that influence. And then also, the culture of the moment, which was the hippie culture and the countercultures and psychedelics and all that. So he's definitely, he's looking into all of those things in his writing, as well as psychology and all of those. Look for a copy of that one as well. I've spent a long time collecting rare books, mostly occult with some philosophy. We'll check with some of my contacts for the out of print stuff. Yeah, if you're into the philosophy stuff, highly recommend Destination Void then. That one is like, don't fuck yourself up and cheat and look at the last paragraph or the last line of the book, because it will ruin everything for you. But it's one of those where right at the very end you fuck, that's cool, fuck, and then you put it down and you're like, fuck, that's so cool. It's well put together, puzzle pieces coming together and clicking, and you're like, oh, that's great. But definitely I'm pretty high on the philosophy, that kind of stuff, Yeah, I like his novellas because they're 250, 350 pages. Oh, thank you, Foxtrot. Welcome on in. We're actually going to be working on this one in a little bit, but we're just warming up with some stuff until about 8 o'clock Pacific time, and then we're going to switch gears and do the zombie dragon. Was I saying? Oh, I was saying how I like Frank Herbert's novellas, because it was both his proving ground and his place to kind of play and get away from the Dune books, which were primarily his source of publishing outlet, beyond writing articles for magazines and that sort of thing. Well, wait. So East Coast then, huh, Foxtrot? Yeah, so with the Frank Herbert thing, I fell in love with his writing, and for a while he was the only author that I read. And I read and reread his stuff. Because I made the mistake of thinking that, definitely by judging a book as its cover, by its cover rather, and saying, oh, that's not something that I would like because it's not A, B, C, D, whatever. It's not. It doesn't fall into certain preconceived notions about stuff. And I wasn't totally wrong, because a lot of the things that are considered really great classics still don't really appeal to me, as far as like fantasy and that sort of thing, right? So like R.A. Salvatore's writing for Drizzt, I tried to pick that up now, and it was so cumbersome. I couldn't do it. But get into The Witcher and really enjoyed what he did with the world and with the characters and even kind of the style of writing, right? But wasn't a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings until the movies. And so for a while, my primary passion in reading was sci-fi. Yeah, it's interesting though, because as I've grown, I've opened up more to experiences and things that I wouldn't normally latch onto, or that I was prejudging previously. A lot of pre in there, huh? And it made me realize that I missed out on a lot of stuff by being like, oh, I'm not going to like that, right? That includes experiences and art and all sorts of stuff. And so after a while, I started trying to live more like, more open-minded, I guess, right? Like, I'm not sure about that art, but it might be cool, or, you know, that kind of thing. And then I was actually making a first-hand informed decision as to the things that I liked and disliked, right? Rather than being judgmental right out of the gate without first getting a unadulterated opinion on it. I think a lot of that comes from, I don't know if that's from youth or what, but the drawings I've done today was in class, and I was drawing Elmo and Barney with Donald Duck in the background, looking at them suspiciously. Right on, Foxtrot. We like drawing around here. We draw every day. Every day. One of the most fantastic aspects of literature is its timeless capacity. I've met people who are reluctant to admit that they haven't read the usual list of classics. I will openly admit that I have not read the usual list of classics, but I have read some of them. Really loved Outpost. Outpost. I don't think I. Who's the author, Cosmonaut? My old drawings still haunt me. That's kind of you never get away from that. They always do. Remember that one drawing that one time? Man, was that scarring. There was, what was it? The 3 Body Problem. People kept telling me that I should read that. And I finally gave it a chance, and I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really cool. And unique, interesting, all of the other words that make something appealing. And it's interesting because I think it taps into kind of universal themes of humanity and that kind of stuff. Written by, oh gosh, Chinese author, I can't remember his name. Cixin, Liu Cixin. 3 Body Problem. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. Taps into some really interesting themes. Michael Gear, fun little read, touches on some philosophical ideas about governing bodies and freedoms in communities. Oh, neat. Yeah, I like that stuff. That's I mean, that's essentially that's all Dune is really about. That, and then like turning the whole Messiah complex on its head. That whole, like, everybody is talking about Dune being like the white savior and stuff, but he's, you know, like, if you really look at the trajectory of the character, he's not a savior at all. Oh, thank you, Foxtrot. I appreciate that. Yeah, so it's there's all of the philosophical stuff, and then there's all the being ruled stuff and all of that stuff. It's really cool. I cannot wait to read the last book of her trilogy. Sit at the barn for a weekend to recover. That's how I felt with N.K. Jemison's Shattered Earth? No. What is it? Second Earth? God damn it. N.K. Jemison. The 5th season. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, there's something weird about that trilogy. But she's one of the only authors to win a Hugo for every book in a trilogy. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a great book. It's written in second person, which is totally unusual. So it's the narrator telling the character what the character did. So it's a little off-putting at first because you're not used to that. Our modern sensibilities are all like primarily third-person narrative, right? He did this, and then that happened. Not you did this, and then this happened, right? Yeah. Hey, no spoilers, Cosmer. People here probably want to read that. And if they don't, I recommend that they do. It's definitely very high up on my list of books that should be read if you're into fantasy and sci-fi and that genre kind of stuff. You were vague. Yeah, and you know, most books have to have some kind of loss, right? Some type of catalyst or emotionally jarring beats. Don't forget to drink your water, friends. Drink your water now! Dragon heads. Lots and lots of dragon heads. Anybody remember that song from years back? Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Eat them up, yum. Oh boy. Do you know what Tom Clancy's Division is? I've heard of Tom Clancy's Division. I'm not a spy type of novel reader, and I have yet to really give them a chance. Meaning the stuff that I've seen hasn't drawn me in enough. But my close friend Daniel swears by some of those novels that there is some really good writing in those, and I appreciate his opinion. He has a very valid opinion, and he is a connoisseur of excellence. So if he says something is good, I will definitely check them out when I have time. The problem is finding the time, right? Because in a modern world filled with deadlines and all of that stuff, there is no time. Oh, you're talking about games. Yeah, I played the game a little bit. Wasn't into it. I don't play stealth games. Or I've tried stealth games and they just don't hook me. It just takes too long to do anything, you know? All right. Well, we did some warm up. Let's get into some dragon stuff. Dragon stuff. Yeah. Cosmer not too real, bro. But totally truth. Let's get rid of the template because we don't need that anymore. We don't need that tone. Might as well work in grayscale for a while because that's what we're gonna do. this one diamond tapered? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have enough time to play all of the games that I would want to play, Foxtrot. So, I envy those that have. Wait a minute, what is even happening here? That is not correct. I envy those that have the time to play a lot of games. But then again, I think I would get bored and be like, I want to go make some art. Because I vacillate on that stuff. Something's weird here. Something's going on with these brushes, and I don't know what. Let's, yeah, see. So you see this, how there's no taper going on inside of the brush. That means that there's something wrong with the brush. And I have to click out of it a couple of times on other brushes first. There we go. Now we're back to where we wanted to be. Photoshop. It's buggy. There we go. Right? Now, same texture. Although I might want to start smoothing out this texture a little, so maybe we'll switch out the brush. We'll go with something, we'll just go with hard round pressure opacity, and we'll start getting some edges and stuff in here. So, ooh, that's too dark. Let's gotta ease our values right now. So, getting in on the dragon. So my thought is to render out the dragon kind of what do you call as fully as possible, and then come back in and lay some colors over it, right? So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start looking at our overall shapes and just kind of putting in some of the big shadow shapes. And then we'll finesse those edges in a little bit, but we're gonna look for the overall mid-tone and the overall darkest darks, and then we'll come back in and hit it with the highlights, and then we'll blend a bunch of that stuff around. That's interesting, Foxtrot. I'm actually a fan of even smaller games. Like, Loop Hero was a fun one. We all got into playing that in the department for a little while. Or at least a bunch of us did. What is this vocal in music? How dare they? Oh, that's a fun drop. We'll leave it in there. So I'm trying to find a balance on this guy, and a balance of like the typical dragon shapes, and then like how do you destroy a typical dragon to make it a zombie dragon, right? And I think what I might do is I might find all those major planes and stuff first, and then kind of work back into it to destroy it. So I think really we're looking at overall major shapes first, and then we'll come back in and reestablish the degradation of the forms afterwards, right? So this might actually go rather slowly because of the renders, because, you know, we're looking for a rendered finish here. If anybody was around back in the day when I did the Cobalt God dragon, we're probably going to go at about that same speed. But where I did that one with primarily the drawing first, I'm trying to think of this one as painting through and through, right? So starting with major shapes first, and then painting everything into those major shapes. So there's also going to be a bit of designing on the fly, right? So I have the pose and everything, but I don't have the specifics of anatomy. And this is always where we run into a little bit of difficulty, right? And that's because dragons are a fantastical creature, and there's no wrong way to do it. So it's a matter of finding what works for the image and the concept that we set forth when we started off. So it's good to kind of have the starting point so that we know, or the target in mind. So not just like, hey, it's a undead zombie dragon, knowing that we're looking for zombie dragons, decaying breath weapon coming from inside, harrowing this guy, and then being lit probably from this direction, but then having a secondary light from this direction, which means this guy here is probably going to be severely backlit too, so we'll get light along here, and those light shapes are going to push us up this way, right? Everything's pushing us back towards the dragon. So, that being said, we have our major forms, we have our major light sources and our minor light sources. Everything's mapped out, so now it's just a matter of building everything up. Then once we have everything built up to a certain level where the grayscale feels like it's working and everything, then we're going to come back in, and then we're going to hit the colors that are hidden underneath that black and white layer and really drive everything home. Oh, speaking of driving everything home, friends, I did a little bit of work on the animated demon girl. And got it to the point where I think it's ready to be rendered out. There's still a little bit of finessing that I want to do. We'll see. I might ease up a little bit on some of the like tilt curves so she doesn't kind of fall so hard into it. So I'll just change it so that it's kind of more like more of a flow to it, right? So especially right here where she kind of tilts to the side hard, feels like she's falling, right? So if I change the curve of that animation a little bit, it'll just kind of go to the side, and then we can have the hair float to the side too, right? Like I feel like, is the second one a little lighter? One of those two is a lighter kind of movement to the side. So yeah. So we'll soon be able to render that out and then do the effects stuff on top of it, and then maybe make some music and make a little animation out of it and everything. But until we do that, we're going to work on this dragon piece, and we're gonna get a finished dragon piece out of this. And this is for Rick, our wonderful supporter, who apparently lost access to his Discord account today. That's why if you're on the Discord, then yeah, whatever. So I can't shout right now because of my stream deck. That's okay. But if you're on the Discord, you can see that Rick joined a second time. Second Rick. Second Rick is best Rick. So coming in here, and I'm looking at getting a core shadow in place on some of these, on some of this stuff, right? And doing it because we're gonna have a lot of bounce light from the glow underneath. We're gonna have a pretty tight core shadow, I think. I mean, I could actually, it could be like core shadow here, right? And then all of this will be darker. Yeah, that may be good actually. So what I'll do is I'll darken this down a little bit, and then we'll come back in and we'll hit that with that light when we do it, when we actually get into the render. We've been double ricked. Double ricked. So this is going to be a hole in his abdomen, or sorry, in his arm, like where his Anonymous, thank you for that. More Rick. We've been double ricked. So some of this stuff I don't have to be too tight with. And I say that, but at the same time, I want to render this as tightly as possible in order to come back in and probably loosen a lot of it up after we do the color anyway. But this will give the basis for all of the color work that we're going to do, and overlay and multiply and all those different modes, and then finally paint on top of opaque, right? More Ricks. The more Ricks the better, really. So I don't think we really need to get too much darker than that, unless of course I start laying over lighter elements of light bleed. And then I'm gonna have to boost up the saturation a little bit. Sorry, not boost the saturation, boost the contrast. But that could even be done in post, so to speak. So I have a feeling we're losing what little color information we had there. And that's okay, because we're gonna actually come in and do the color information separate. That being said, without that color information, we can just merge these layers. And then I can start controlling the edges a little bit more with some erasing. We're gonna erase using the same brush, so we have some of the same control and some of the same brush marks, right? Friends, if you're wondering how Sariana does what she does with the sound donations, all the numbers are down below in the description. So if you want to throw a sound in there, just like on Twitch, if you donate, you'll do it. So there's things like, I have this really interesting idea. So if I've got the light here in his mouth, right? So it's like, it's kind of coming up the remainder of his esophagus. And then this membrane, his cheek membrane here, is cracked, right? It's torn. So it's gonna have like holes and stuff in it, like so. So those will all be like, those will be like kind of glowing with light, right? There'll be light coming out of there. Let's do cracked spine on his back here. Let's try something here. This is the best thing about working in this style, is like I work in grayscale so much, or at least I used to, that my brain kind of automatically goes that route. Hello, hello, Dazzle Paints. Welcome in. So I think there's too many similar spikes here. So I think what I might do is just mask this out, right? Dazzle, how's your night going, friend? Good to see ya. How you feeling? You recovering? And then we'll come in and we'll design some horns on top of that. Let's lighten these up a little bit though. Lighten up, man. So you want to see something interesting? This happens all the time, all right? So if you can do that, if you can catch yourself doing this, you'll be in much better shape. This was precious to me. This little point right here, right? See that? That mark was precious to me. I was like, oh, I don't want to mess that up. So what did I do? Look at that horn. So, I'm gonna actually have this align right and not worry about that in the background, right? So if you see something like that you're treating as precious, ask yourself if it is. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not. And you can do it. You can do your piece a service by not treating it as precious. But a lot of stuff takes time, practice to realize what's precious and what's not, right? So if you make a painterly mark, it could be precious. It could make it all the way to the end of the painting, right? Like these marks right here on his mouth, those could easily make it to the end of the painting. Who knows? Feeling better, but Ruby needs the good drugs to feel better, and they didn't send it to the right pharmacy, so now we have to wait till tomorrow. Boo! Oh, I'm sorry. Tell her I hope that I hope she's not suffering too much. Oh, friends, speaking of suffering, I have allergy meds that my doctor gave me, essentially Flonase, right? And math basically bit me in the ass because it's 120 pumps for this thing, and I'm like, okay, so that's 2 months. Because I'm a big dummy. It's 2 pumps and 2 pumps, and it's twice a day. That means it's 8. That means it's like a month. But for some reason, I was counting everything as 2 pumps. I'm like, big old dummy. So I'm like, why are my allergies acting up? I'm using the stupid thing, and it's like, and then I went up there and I tried to like spray it, and it's just like, it's like, oh, okay, it's fucking done. Yeah, I'm not a smart person. I don't math. Well, Dazzle, what's happening here? Oh, I'm painting in white. Painting in white. Oh, oh. Dazzle, I hope that everybody feels much better soon. So let's see. He's almost straight on. Ever so slightly tilted, so we're gonna get a bit of that. You know what? Let's break this one. Let's break this horn so that it's just poking up, but it's totally broken, right? There we go. And now we'll come in with some lighter stuff here to differentiate the two. Right here. I just got Flonase today because my allergies cleared up for like a day. Now my nose is goddamn faucet. Yeah, Sariana. Yeah. And something I noticed is they say right on Flonase for to alleviate allergy symptoms. So it's not even like it's just helping you to deal with the symptoms. It's not really doing anything for you. Other than like, oh, hey, you've got symptoms? Let's mask them. You'll be fine. It is a racket, indeed. Because if they fix you, then, you know, then they're not going to make any more money off of you, so. Here, take this for your symptoms. Okay, let's see. Let's do a little bit of drawing here, right? So this is just to get some of those segments in there, and then we'll accent them as we continue with this. Just the beginning. Man, the sketch phase is so fun for me. Maybe that's why I'm a sketch artist. We'll see if I can maintain the energy all the way through the finish. I think I can. It's been a while since I did a dragon, and I'm pretty excited about painting up a dragon. Let's do, okay, hold on. We're gonna save first, and then yeah, this is gonna be a little hectic, friends. Let's see if this works. Edit, puppet warp. Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna pin the head and the hands and the body where it needs to be, and then we're gonna grab pins here, here, and here, and we're gonna move some of this stuff. Right? Be careful with some of these wing things. What? Can't add a new pin. I'm just trying to grab this one. Oh. Okay, okay, I get it. You don't like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's actually really neat because you can like just totally like alter, right? Like, oh, that could be that could actually be more open and longer. It's got the dragon with an overbite. Or you can compress it, right? Okay. Let's open that just a touch. Nope. Yeah, okay. Or let's say bring this hand down slightly. Or this part, bring that up and out. Looks good to me. Yeah, see now we've got that nice curve to the neck. So we'll hit enter. It's gonna think, boom, done. So what's that look like? What do the differences look like? From that to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do So I just did a snapshot, a history snapshot, and then I'm gonna go to this layer, and then I'm gonna put this on that snapshot for the art history brush. I'm gonna go back to the art history brush, and I'm just gonna use this brush. And now, whoop, nope, that's not what I wanted. History brush tool. I can brush back in what was there and leave the rest of it. Right? Thieving the zombie dragon. Thieving. I feel like we lost Rick to the gods of D&D. He's long gone. All right, I think that's pretty good. So now we can continue on. I think I'm gonna take these and move them up slightly though. Move those vertebrae back down so we have a clear silhouette there, right? Something to be said for a clear silhouette. Gaze upon me in despair, for I am Thievin, devourer of souls. Fear the Thievin. Thievon's coming for you. Thievon will have his revenge. What about me dinner time? Where's my dinner? Okay, I think that's good. We're gonna merge that layer down and we're gonna continue on with some of this rendering. So this is where we're gonna start kind of putting in. Okay, so technically, you guys know the rule. It's back to front, right? So I should be working on this background stuff first, but I want to get into the things that are important more than I want to get into doing a quick background on things. And so what's important is the dragon and what the story that we're trying to tell, which is the dragon is harrowing the guy and it's dead and decaying and there's this glow coming from inside him. So that being said, we need to paint back to front. So this stuff is all closest to the camera. This stuff is second to the camera. And then this stuff and this stuff are all behind that, right? So if we were thinking about it in layers, it's like arm, neck, chest, leg, right? So we have to work our way forward to the things that are important, or in layers forward towards the viewer, within the picture plane, right? So in thinking about that, all of this stuff back here needs to be fleshed out before I start putting anything in the foreground like these cracked ribs and stuff like that. And that being said, again, I don't know how fleshed out it needs to be because it's a glow. But I said to myself earlier that we were going to really work at fleshing it out before we moved on to the color and everything. So I want to make sure that I give it its due. And being fleshed out doesn't necessarily mean being 100% rendered across all of the forms. It just means having all of the visual information to take you to the next phase of the painting, drawing, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Speaking of allergies, damn. Kicking off right now. I mean, it's not living in the desert, as Sariana pointed out to me when we were talking about allergies. It's like, this is nothing. Y'all don't know heat, y'all don't know allergies. It's like, okay, take it easy. Don't be all like hardcore about it. So friends, once again, I think this week I'm going to put up a shenanigans event on the Discord, and we'll see how many people are interested. And we'll talk about it in the streams and see if we get people biting. How about Sunday evening? Oh man, I am the living embodiment of that state meme. What? I don't know what that means. Shit, I keep doing it. I keep going away from the places that if we can finish it, we can just move forward with it. Okay, let's do this. Background arm. I promise to try not... Don't do that, Dazzle. Don't limit yourself, you beautiful dazzling pant man, you. Just be yourself. Be your own butterfly. Win if you can win. It can only inspire us to greater heights of trying and excellence. You put it in the Discord. I'm guessing in the Mimi section. Mimi. Has anyone seen Arizona? Oh, here, why don't we just look at it? Has anyone seen Arizona? Wait, no, can't see it over there. Boy, this 90-degree weather sure is hot. 90 is cold, pathetic. I live in a toaster. You don't know how hot it is. You don't know what hot is. Yes, Sariana, you are the living embodiment of that meme. Vintage, what's happening? How you doing? I was thinking about your art today because I have to get frames. And yeah, we're drawing a dragon. We're getting pretty far. Let's here. Look. Wait. Here we go. Wait. We'll go back in the history. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Pretty good. How you doing, Vintage? How was your weekend? What'd you get up to? Anything good? Let's bring this back down a little bit. Enticing. Ooh. Enticing dragon is enticing. It's hopefully by the time we're done, it's going to look disgusting and and zombified, and nobody's gonna like it at all, except for the skill with which it was painted and executed. Yes! Oh, I made some music this weekend too. That's what I did. Yeah. Yeah. Installed 3 different video cards and made music. Didn't do any artwork because sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you just need to take it easy. Have a down day or 2. Wait, did I really not do any artwork this weekend? What? Yes, Viscera. I did not make any physical artwork this weekend. Thank you for the correction. Thank you. Who's a dragon boo? But you know what I did do? I had dinner with a friend for their birthday, and I took it easy and relaxed for a day. And then I installed 3 different video cards, and in the midst of that, I made some music. And that sounds like a winning weekend to me, because it feels very balanced, right? Like I've been thinking a lot about this recently, and it's the question is do I want to be a content creator or do I want to be an artist? And it's interesting to say por qué no los dos, but when you get into the actuality of it, content creation drives you away from making art on some levels. And so for the next podcast, I had proposed to Daniel, you know, are content creator or artists now just content creators, and is there any going back? So I've been rolling over these thoughts in my mind so that when we sit down to record the next one, I have some things that I've thought about on a fundamental level about what content creation is and what art is, and is there an intersection there that they can both live happily, or are you one or the other, right? So that being said, for me, there is the demands of content creation detract from being an artist. That's for all of it. That's for posting it up in any regard, like on a website, on Instagram, on YouTube, on ArtStation, on any of those things. The demands of putting it out there is a detractor, because you're immediately working for the audience. You're not working for yourself. Like taking surface streets versus the highway to get from point A to point B. Yes, Sariana. And case in point, if you go to my Instagram and you look at like the latest reels are just reveals of shit that I've done. And that's not something that I would do outside of the need for a certain push into content creation, right? So it's been rolling over in my head. Been thinking about it. And those are just my opinions. I could be wrong. I probably am. Right? All of this stuff is just based on opinions. You're gonna switch me to mobile so I can lay in bed. Switch to mobile so you can lay in bed. And I'm back. Yeah, Siriana's got that smart stuff going. I'm like, content creation. Ugh. Sorry, friends. You're not boring. I'm boring. And no, I'm not back, technically. I'm just lost in my own head. I can't, won't, I hate it, just let me draw. I'm guessing you're talking about content creation. So some of these marks are just for the textural elements that they're bringing to it. And they'll probably get painted over in some places, and others I'll leave them in. Cosmerna, I appreciate that very much, actually. And there was a period of time where I did refuse social media altogether. I got really fed up with the constant push to feed the algorithm, right? And having to do it in a certain way that fit Instagram or YouTube or any of those things, where they were like, no, it has to be for YouTube videos. Oh, it has to be 8 minutes long right now, or we're not going to put it out there, you know. And I just stopped doing it and didn't have any growth whatsoever, because I just was like, well, I'm just going to do my art, and I'm not going to post it up. I'm not going to put it anywhere. And this is where the discussion comes in. Nobody knew about what I was doing. It was creating in a vacuum, right? So then it begs the question is, and I go back to this, is art for you or is art for others? And then if it's for others, how do you share it if not through the major means of distribution, so that others can see it and it can be, for lack of a better term, complete, right? And then if the major means of distribution is something like Instagram or YouTube, how do you share it in a way, again, that gets seen without catering to the whims, needs, and desires of this corporation, right? Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to cater to the corp, right? I just want to make art. Is that discussion too heavy for y'all? If you think about it as a whole, artists throughout the centuries have been content creators when the bills need to be paid. Absolutely, Sariana. And that's my counter argument that my brain says to me all the time. They're like, shut up, art monkey. Do the thing that you need to do to survive as an artist. She's a cosmic mermaid. She's always creating in a vacuum. Touche, Dazzle, touche. Yeah, and you know, when it comes down to it, many of your favorite artists throughout the centuries were creating for corporate entities anyway, right? Creating for the people that were paying the bills. And so if a corporation is currently the one paying the bills in society, then that's who we're beholden to. Suck. So hopefully that shifts and it becomes a real creator economy. I could see it happening. It could happen, right? Where the creator economy becomes one that's governed by the creators. And I hate to be like blockchain, 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 but there is just a smidge of hope that that might be a thing that puts the power back in the hands of those making the art. Or I don't know, maybe not back in the hands, but in the hands of the people making art. I personally fluctuate between something like Twitch being a thing I do to hang out with people with art as a focus versus doing Twitch because it helps me to do art when I may not feel inspired. Yes, I mean, I always appreciate the feeling of hanging out with you guys making art on Twitch. But then there's also, you know, there's the monetary aspect of being an artist, right? Having fans, having people that that you connect with, that connect with what you're doing, and people that are willing to invest their energy, time, money into what you're doing. And that's what Twitch is, right? It's a connection point for all of us. And it's a modern day networking vehicle that puts us in connection with one another and makes us closer than any technology in the past could as artists, which is a really great thing. I've been on the web, man. I've been on the web for ages. I've been on the web for way too fucking long. And this is the closest I've ever felt to my fans seems like too small of a term now. My community, right? This is the closest that I've been to the community of people that connect with what I do. And I like that, but I don't like the hustle to be seen by more people that may appreciate what I do and expand the community. That hustle is, I don't want to say it's demeaning, but it becomes a slog when the corporation keeps changing the rules on you, right? When Instagram goes from being a visual application that helps you to get your visual art out there, your art or photography, or if you're a model, your modeling portfolio, your images that you're creating. If you're a musician, the music that you're making. It goes from being that visual medium into we're only doing video now. We are no longer a visual platform because that's what we decided. And fuck you and everything that you've been working towards. Oh, okay, well, here we go, you know? Absolutely, that's that is the rub of everything, really, is that the community found each other, and we continue to find people that fit within this community in a wonderful way. And, you know, ebb and flow and come and go, but, you know, they keep coming back and being like, hey, been busy, how y'all doing, right? But I think it's in spite of, it's not because of, if that makes sense, right? I don't know why I'm like politicianing this shit. Vote for me and I will destroy Twitch once and for all, and we'll live in a utopia. Hello. I don't know. Just things I've been thinking about. And I don't think it's Twitch is the, like, I don't think that Twitch is like a bad guy, blah, blah, blah. But I think that there's got to be better ways for this kind of stuff, right? And hopefully we'll all latch onto that, and it'll be a thing that we, as a community, discover together and move to together, and find even more ways to love and support one another in creativity and art and music and all of the things that we do. Ooh, we're getting there. So I've been doing primarily darks and then erasing out the lights. That might come back and bite me in the ass when I go to do the colors. So we're gonna start doing, we're gonna put some lights behind, back in here to boost these. God damn, that's loud. Oh man, I painted right into the background like a big old dum-dum. There we go. Now the lights will show through a little bit. And we'll merge them. Boom! Merged! Boom! You know what's funny, friends, is that Sariana and I now live so close together that we hear the same planes taking off. You'd be like, did you hear that one? How big was that stupid plane? Okay, this is not in the original sketch, but I kind of want to put a tail back there. See, it's gonna come back here like that. It's gonna wrap there, so. Ugh, I did it again like a dummy. Man, my brain. Come on, Autumn. You can do this. You're a professional. Okay. So like that. Darker. Too dark. A little lighter still. Yeah, Cosmonaut, we're excited for you to come back down to the Los Angeles area and give us a visit. At least I am. I can't speak for Sariana. And you just can't hide it, Sariana? Are you about to lose control? Do you want to? Man, I tell you, I saw Flashdance when I was a kid. Because that's what that song is from, right? I'm so excited. I just can't hide it thing. And I had like such a crush on that dancer girl. I was like, do you see how far up her butt that outfit goes? Damn! Okay, let's try masking out these vertebrae things and see what this looks like. Whoop. To mask, you need to use a fucking brush, not an eraser. What was it? Orc Babe and Dro Boy are our circus duo. But it was in Flashdance, the movie. I care about the Pointer Sisters. I care about the outfit the dancer was wearing. See, I'm resorting to silhouette painting, which is, I would say resorting, but falling back into silhouette painting, right? Sorry, that was loud. Now I can put just a bit of some shape into that, some shadow shape, right? Nope. I don't know. It might actually ruin the silhouette too much. I could push it back even further by making it lighter. They specialize in acro yoga, and Dro Boy gets thrown around by Orc Babe and does flips and shit. That works. Okay, I'm gonna take that tail thing out. It was an interesting thought, but that's something that can be brought back in later, if we need to. Can also put something back here, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's such a strong silhouette. Like anything I do behind it is gonna break it. So I have to curtail that. Curtail that desire to have more cool dragony shapes, right? So now we're gonna have some shadow shapes here, but then along the top we'll have like basically what the light is catching, the like fleshy bits that the light is catching up here. what's left of fleshy bits on his vertebra. Curtail that tail. Not usually what I want to do, but you know. Usually we're all about the tail. So this is the fun part of rendering, where it's just kind of squiggling, right? You're like, oh, it's just a squiggle here and a squiggle there. Just need to make sure that my squiggles are kind of the same. Especially on something that's like dead / decaying, right? We're just like, oh, show some form and get some form shadow in there. So all of my most, I want to say all of my most successful pieces, like the dragon flyby one, was done like this, where I just kept on working it and kept on working it, and then at a point was like, okay, I've worked it far enough and we're gonna do the color. The dragon flyby is, you've seen it in the slideshow. This guy. Right? So that was done all grayscale for hours and hours, probably 16 hours before I even decided to put the color onto the thing. And the good thing about that is it really, you are solidly in the render. You absolutely know what everything is before you start coloring it, and then when you color it, you're just accenting and bringing things to the fore, and then you're adding some variety and that sort of thing to the colors. It's a very rewarding process, I feel like. And I've stayed away from that because I haven't wanted to go back to things that I'm that familiar with. I've wanted to push and push for other techniques, but sometimes you gotta just gotta step back and do the tried and true, right? Part of the challenge is to not overwork everything, right? When you're rendering this much. Like, let some things be unfinished, for lack of a better term. Erase out a little bit where the wing would be torn off of his elbow there, right? Have some of it hanging down. Maybe even showing what would amount to the brachioradialis, the rotator bone, right? Oh man, I'm actually kind of excited about this one. I think this is going to come together in a neat fashion. Get some strands of flesh on his neck there. I just want to do zombie stuff from here on out because of the things I get to say in stream. Got the arm there. This is going to be clavicle right here. Slow build to spooky season. I back zombie season with my soul. Yes. Yeah, I feel like you know, balance is good. I like drawing sexy girls, and I like drawing elves. But it's also good to get in and do dragons and other spooky things, right? Looking at designs, friends. And when you're looking at designs, sometimes you gotta slow down, take it in, see what's working, what's not working. See what's telling the story the way you want to tell it. I think this one needs to go. But we can do that shape back here. And then continue this shape here. Let's get some marks on the forearms here. That will give us some kind of textural stuff to play with. Thing with these kind of creatures is you're gonna get, and I think I said this in the last time we were doing a dragon, is you're gonna get larger scales in the open parts of the body, right? And then as you get to the parts that kind of articulate more, they're gonna get smaller because they need to be able to move more freely. So if you look at any existing creatures in the world, real creatures, you can clearly see where their joints are because they have more kind of textural cracks and elements, like even us with, you know, knuckles and elbows and that sort of thing. More kind of cracks and textural stuff going on. So do it with your fantasy creatures too. See, now we're getting to the part where I can start coming in with some lighter lights over these things and start building out some forms and textural stuff, right? Cosmonaut, thanks for hanging out, friend. Have a wonderful night. And we'll see you soon, all right? Looking forward to actually seeing you in person one of these days. Put that arm back there. Wing, rather. So we're getting way more refined in the shapes. It's coming along. Oh, hi, bye, Dazzle. He's just sneaking around in here. Drink your water, friends. It's good for you. You needs it. You know, it's always a little disconcerting when you're working like this and it's looking good, and then you just zoom in a little bit and you're like, oh, that's just a bunch of, oh, okay. Because that's all art is a bunch of little marks all put together into one big thing. But it's good to keep in mind that, for the most part, people are going to see it like this, right? So, think about presentation. How tight do you have to go with things? Only so tight as you need to tell the story, or to work in the style that you want to. So realistically, I could stop at any point and be like, this is the style that I want to work in, and Rick can't say anything about it because that's what I decided to work in. put some bounce light up onto the bottom part of the draw there. I always love doing that. I usually save that for like the last parts of a painting, but we're just gonna keep on working this until we get, like I said, until we get a very finished grayscale painting, and then we'll put the color in, and then we'll go over it and repaint a lot of that stuff. But it's going to make the color work pop. I just realized, like, put so much love into this guy, and poor whatever lunch is completely unfinished. Oh well, that's what lunch gets. Poor widow meal. Meals on steel. So that discussion earlier wasn't to be like a downer about social media or anything. It's just things that my preoccupied brain will pick up and just like start chewing on while I'm doing other things. I thought I'd share that with you guys. Refine some of these teeth a little bit. This is a good thing to talk about since so many likely feel the same and encounter the same questions in regards to yeah, I mean, it's weird questions, right? Because it's not I mean, the specificity of social media aside, I feel like it's questions that every artist has had to ask themselves in one way or another. Like, you know, what's the point of the art? Is it to make art, or is it to build a following, or is it to make a living, right? I mean, they're age-old questions, really, when it comes down to it. But social media kind of puts a brand new spin on it, and I think there's the questions that we as artists have never had to ask in the past, as it directly relates to an algorithm making the decisions, right? It's not a human mind behind the decisions to feature an artist or show what they do or anything. I think that's new and different. I have a lot of these conversations with my sister because she essentially used social media to get herself to a place where she could go full-time as an artist. Right. So then there's a question of, you know, are you then beholden to social media on some level, right? Beholden to the expectations of social media or the algorithm / your fans, right? She's always questioning the decision because the algorithm stuff frustrates her so much that the social media in and of itself is a full-time job. Yeah. Daniel and I have been talking about that. Like, where are the marketing opportunities for artists where we can just create and hand off this stuff to a third party to handle those things? Where's that intersection? Where's, you know, because part of it is you have to know what you find as your aesthetic, right? As an artist. And so within social media, you are projecting your aesthetic, your kind of the way you want to show who you are, your personality / your persona. And then if you hire a third party, is the third party going to accurately represent who you are? Will they be able to show your art and personality in a way that is meaningful and respectful? Oh boy, friends. Sheesh. I didn't even notice what time it was. Got wrapped up in rendering. Let's take a look at what we did tonight. So, this is where we started. And this is where we are. Started, and where we are. I think we made some good decisions tonight. Thank you, Sariana. File, save. Let me see something. What size is this? Yeah, 10,000 pixels wide. Yeah, that'll make for a fun one. Sweet. Well, thank you very much, friends. I appreciate that. As you guys know, we'll be back Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Daylight Time. Doing some more of this over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/AutumnRainTurkel. And until then, we'll be over on the Discord. And you can find all the links and everything down below in the About section if you're new here and don't know. And yeah, time for ice cream. I don't have any ice cream. What the hell? Friends, thanks for hanging out. It was nice to interact with you all again. And I'm gonna post up an event on the Discord, and the people that want to attend should let it be known so that we can actually do it. If we don't hit the threshold, we're not gonna do it. We'll see you all Wednesday. We'll see you all Friday, and have a wonderful couple of days. Have a great night. You too, Viscera, Dazzle, Sariana. You guys all have a wonderful evening. And love you all. Love each other. Be kind to one another. We need that now more than ever. And that's it from the arts department. Keep drawing. And we will see you next time.